difference between the forward and backward directions of real time in ordinary life. Imagine a cup of water falling off a table and breaking into pieces on the floor. If you take a film of this, you can easily tell whether it is being run forward or backward. If you run it backward, you will see the pieces suddenly gather themselves together off the floor and jump back to form a whole cup on the table. You can tell that the film is being run backward because this kind of behavior is never observed in ordinary life. If it were crockery, manufacturers would go out of business. There you go. The explanation that is usually given as to why we don't see broken cups gathering themselves together off the floor and jumping back onto the table is that it is forbidden by the second law of thermodynamics. So if there is a quiz question as to why this does not happen, you can safely say, second law, my lord. Second law of thermodynamics will be at your service. But is there more to this story? Is there? Is there more to the story? We'll see. This says that in any closed system, disorder or entropy always increases with time. So the fact, because entropy always increases with time, the orderliness should decrease with time. In other words, it is a form of Murphy's law. Things always tend to go wrong. I would agree. An intact cup on the table is in a state of high order, but a broken cup on the floor is a disordered state. One can go readily from the cup on the table in the past to the broken cup on the floor in the future, but not the other way around because of second law of thermodynamics. The increase of disorder or entropy with time is one example of what is called an arrow of time, something that distinguishes the past from the future, giving a direction to time. Giving some method to this madness called time. There are at least three different arrows of time. First, there is the thermodynamic arrow of time, the direction of time in which disorder or entropy increases. Then there is the psychological arrow of time. This is the direction in which we feel time passes, the direction in which we remember the past but not the future. Finally, there is the cosmological arrow of time. This is the direction of time in which the universe is expanding rather than contracting. So this is yet another definition of the arrow of time, where the universe is expanding rather than contracting. So this is good that we're defining this, because sometimes we get it all mixed up, right? So those are the three definitions of time here. The orderliness, the entropy increasing direction of time, psychological direction of time where we remember the past but not the present, but not the future, and then cosmological direction of time where the universe is expanding, as in the forward direction of time, versus the universe contracting. So, how very interesting. The three different definitions of the arrow of time. In this chapter, I shall argue that the no boundary condition for the universe, together with the weak anthropic principle, can explain why all three arrows point in the same direction, and moreover why a well-defined arrow of time should exist at all. I shall argue that the psychological arrow is determined by the thermodynamic arrow, and that these two arrows necessarily always point in the same direction. If one assumes the no boundary condition for the universe, we shall see that there must be well-defined thermodynamic and cosmological arrows of time, but they will not point in the same direction for the whole history of the universe. However, I shall argue that it is only when they do point in the same direction that conditions are suitable for the development of intelligent beings who can ask the question,